Oh my goodness. I just watched Horimiya's anime and I got the happiness, the excitement. It feels like I just traveled back to the past, like 7 to 8 years ago, when I really first encountered Horimiya's manga for the first time and started reading it, and even talked about the manga in its early days. It's so crazy to me that after all of these years, I could finally see Horimiya animated with a proper anime, not the OVAs, and the anime is so good. This series is it's something I've been waiting for. It's one of those series that I just can't get enough of. I love Horimiya. It's such a good manga, and I'm just gonna say right now, if you love this first episode, I really do recommend the manga. The manga is extremely good. It is so freaking good, and it is definitely a very, very nice romance slice of life series because it does a lot of mature things, and it's actually fundamentally one of the most grounded and realistic slice of life romance series I think I personally have ever read. Because, I mean, let's just take a moment to look at this first episode of the anime. That entire middle to the final part of the episode, or pretty much the majority of the episode, really shows how grounded the series is. For instance, how there's actual natural conversation between the characters, between Hori and Miyamura, to all the other classmates. You get to see just, how there's life in the environment. You have other students and everything. Just, this is what really drew me to Horimiya when I read the manga. It felt very realistic, like there was life within the world. It wasn't just entirely focused on Hori, and it wasn't entirely focused on Miyamura. It was focused on a variety of characters, and you get to see their interactions and kind of how they have an effect on the world, even though it is slice of life. And you don't have this melodrama really trying to ramp it up. It's actually very different. I mean, let's look at Miyamura as a character for a second, okay? At least when Horimiya came out for its time, there might be series that's similar to this now, but when it came out for its time, like 8+ years ago, you didn't see any type of character like Miyamura that had, like, tattoos and piercings on him and all that. That wasn't really common, at least from what I remember. And his type of character arc and what you see from him is so different. His design really does stand out. And this anime really does take it to a different level in terms of the art department of Miyamura's design. I really have to say, in terms of just the way he looks within this episode, especially when you get to see his hair back and you get to see the piercings and all that, the tattoos, I'm like, yo, he looks incredible. He really looks incredible. I mean, Hori looks cute as hell, but Miyamura, man, like, he looks really good. And that's the thing, is that I really enjoy this series for how there is some very unique character designs, and there's a lot of things about the series that really just draws you into it. Like, for instance, Hori and Miyamura's relationship, and you can see there's a lot of maturity between the relationship, but also a lot of slice of life, things that are not normally ever brought up or mentioned within this type of genre of story. Like, what, as an example, is when Hori needs to get eggs, and she realizes that, oh, I can't get the eggs because I have to be at the committee meeting for the school, so I'm not going to be able to actually go get these discounts. And so she quickly texts and hits up Miyamura like, hey, go get me my eggs, pick up soda, and, go, and all that. And that's what happened. And that was basically the end of that scene. And in the grand scheme of things, it's nothing relatively huge. But that's what is really the appeal of Horimiya. It's these little interactions between the characters that showcase just how they're slowly bonding. There's really organic interactions. Like, this is something you would see in real life. Little things. Like, oh, let's say you have someone you like, or, a friend or whatever, and you get them a snack or you get them a drink, whatever. This is something that's very common, but it's something that's not really ever mentioned a lot in stories, especially at least in slice of life romance manga. You don't see that. You don't see these little things, these very little things that you never really think about too much, but like, grabbing stuff for someone, bringing it upstairs, making them food. Well, that's a common thing to show, but like the little stuff, like grabbing a shirt for them, whatever. It's the little things in life that really progress a relationship. And seeing Miyamura doing what he did for, Hori was a very big deal. It shows what type of series this is, and that it is trying to be very organic with the characters, and it makes a lot of sense why Hori is building a bond with Miyamura, and vice versa. Miyamura building a bond with her. They have similarities, and they're able to confide in each other about what they're hiding from others, or at least what they're kind of embarrassed about to not share with others, and they're kind of sharing their secrets with each other. It's so cute. Like, let's get into Hori for a second. Hori as a character, when you first see her at the start of this episode, she looks like a really popular, pretty girl, gonna do really well in school, and she does have all of that. And so she is the standard generic format you would see from a slice of life romance manga. However, there is usually a twist to these type of characters, and Hori is one of those that also have a twist. But her twist in this case is that she's just a typical house mom. That's what she is. She's basically a sister that's happened to take the role as a mother figure within the household to watch over her brother. And now, this doesn't mean that she doesn't have parents. It's very clear from what we saw earlier on within the episode that she does have a mother. She is around. It's just she's working so much, has a job, and it seems like she has a lot of kindness and she can't really turn down her bosses. She's continuously working and making money for their family, can actually have food. So she is providing for the family. It's not a horrible mother. She isn't doing her motherly duties, but she is definitely providing for the family, which does show a lot about the character. She isn't someone that just disappeared and Hori is, fending for herself with her little brother. That is not the case. That is not what's happening within this story. She's just happy to take the role of a mother figure because her mother is too busy making sure they have money to buy food, etc. So it's stuff like this that I appreciate. But going further, though, Hori tries to hide this house mom side of her because she has this persona where it looks preppy, she looks beautiful, she looks smart, she's popular, she has her hair down and all nice and pretty and all that, and people normally see her like this. She has an image, basically, and it's not necessarily like she's trying really hard to hold that image up. It's not like she's getting really embarrassed, like, oh no, they're gonna find out and all that. She's not like that. She's not making it melodramatic like you would see from most series. You know how when a character is hiding something at the household, and then they get very melodramatic and like, oh no, they're gonna find him, and it leads to drama, etc., and it's not really anything big. That's not what's really happening here. She just doesn't want people to know. She's like, they don't need to know. It's like, this is my, alone time. This is, my time with my little brother, making sure he's having a good life at home. And yeah, and she handled the overall reaction of, Miyamura finding out rather well. She was shocked, but she handled it. And, that's basically where it was left. And so you get to see the maturity of the series. It's not trying to be melodramatic. It's not trying to just be over the top every single scene. It really, it carries itself with its beautiful characters and its organic chemistry between the scenes. That is why Horimiya is so good and why I've always loved this series. As for first impressions of the anime, this is a good episode. Like, enough said, it's a good episode, and I know I've already seen some people complaining about this episode, and I kind of want to get into that a little bit. I haven't read the manga in a very long time, like the beginning chapters of the manga for a very long time, so I don't fully remember every little detail, every little manga panel that potentially was adapted or not adapted with this first episode. I want to be honest with you. However, I think in terms of the core essence of what this first episode was, at least as me as a reader of the manga that loves the manga, and it's one of my favorite romance manga of all time, I think this episode perfectly captured what the series was about. It didn't try to act like it was something else that it wasn't. It didn't try to amp up the melodrama or whatever like a lot of anime like to do. That is not the case here. It does present Horimiya in a very raw format, in its rawest form, basically. So I don't think the adaptation is bad. I know people are saying that some scenes were cut out and it probably loses meaning to certain scenes, and okay, I understand those complaints. I really do. They are warranted complaints about, a series. Like if certain scenes don't make as much sense or maybe pacing too fast, whatever, I can understand that. But once again, we gotta remember that this is an anime, and anime are not always the exact same. I know that's shocking, and it's taken me a very long time to really come to terms with that. It's still something I struggle on a constant. And as I've always said, anime is supposed to do a variety of things. First thing, it's supposed to be the advertisement, which is sad, but it is true. It's usually an advertisement for the original source. But second, the series is supposed to be presented and give even more oomph and life to what the original source was. Make it something even beyond what the manga never could, or light novel, or whatever could ever be. An example, like series like, for instance, Hunter x Hunter, or something like, I guess, ReZero. You have stuff like that's taken to a whole other level with its brilliant anime, and I think the first episode does its job really well. So no complaints here, personally. I think, though, time will only tell, but I personally am not really concerned. Judging by the way the first episode was handled, I'm not really concerned about this series being bad. I think it's going to be very good, very cute, and all I'm going to say is if you're looking for a solid, slice-of-life romance series that isn't, like, over dramatic, like, too dramatic, here you go. This is your series. But, I'm going to leave it at that. I love you guys. If you enjoy my content, please subscribe. If, you like the series, let me know your thoughts on it in the comments below. I'm very curious. Let me know how you feel about Horimiya, if this is your first time ever interacting with the series, like ever hearing about it and, hearing people talk about it. Tell me your actual thoughts on how you feel about the series in the comments below. And yeah, I'm just happy to talk about it. It's just so nice. But I love you guys. Be safe. If you enjoy my content, please subscribe. If you like this video, please leave a like. And if you want to get notified for whenever, I upload a video, please click the bell icon down below. And with that, Chibi out.